Tough, man. He literally had like 8 bodyguards with him. This is probably like, I don't know, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, so, but it's a trip. It was a pretty, it was a good time. It was a good time.
And are you like meeting the music people, or are you just like, I'm working, they don't talk to you?
It goes back.
Or is it like a family kind of thing?
Yeah, it's kind of cool. You know, so, let's say you're a craft store. Like, I used to do all these Japanese credit card commercials with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
You know, so you would see, you know, my buddy, you know, hey, go get Leo. We need him on set. Hey, man, you know, and you just, you know, because it was Japan, it was like PlayStation was there, so they brought him like 2 PlayStations and like 100 games, and so he's got all his boys on set. But it's fun, man. It can be great. You know, people can be. I've worked with you know, probably everybody but Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And so it's a trip. Some people are cool. You know, it's work. So you try.
Yeah, you're not there to hang out.
Yeah, you're not there to hang out.
Yeah.
You're there to do a job. You're there to be a professional.
What's the starstruck policy? Like, if they know like you're a huge fan of this guy, will they be like, nah, you can't come to this one?
No, it's pretty chill. It is in the beginning though. You definitely are starstruck, man. You just don't know.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
You're in your 20s and you're like, man, these dudes.
That's cool.
You know, it's like, man. So yeah,
Fuck
it's good stuff. So.
How long did you do that job?
I like to have fun, man. I was living in Playa del Rey in this house on the cliff, and we could see from Malibu to downtown LA. And I had 3 buddies, and they were had suits, and they did their thing. So I would just hang out, surf, and I was a production assistant. Probably too long. I probably would have been able to own a house if I would have found some structure earlier in. But probably about 4 or 5 years.
That's all good.
Was that? Yeah, and then I went into art department,
right?
And I just thought it'd be a good direction for me, and from there it just this guy was just my boss was just such an asshole, man, and he's just miserable, and I was just like, I'm out of here, man. I'm not putting up with this shit. So I did that for about a year, bounced back to being a production assistant, and then thought, you know, at that time it was all film, right? We're using all film.
Yeah.
And so what would happen was, you know, on set, you're doing, film calculations, right? So you say you put like an ND6 in, you have to open up the stop on the lens 2 stops, and so it was a very numerical, numbered thing, and I wasn't very good at school, so I thought, hey man, why don't you get into camera department, because you know you're going to use your brain, you gotta think this, think that, and it's super creative, right? Because you're standing right next to the directors and all that stuff and the actors. And so I went for camera, and I was literally one of the last generation film loaders. Film is making a little bit of a comeback now, but I was definitely. I remember a great British buddy of mine, Matt Baker. He just looked at me one time. He goes, "You're the last generation loader, film loader." I was like, "No way," And then as it went.
Yeah, you're like, film will never die, man.
Film will never die, and it did.
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
So, at this point, how old are you?
50.
When you're doing this?
Oh no, dude. Oh no, I'm 50 now. At that point, I was probably late 20s.
Late 20s.
Yeah,
okay.
I would say by like 27, I was probably in the union as a camera assistant.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, yes.
And what was that? Movies, commercials, and music videos, basically?
Yeah, I did movies. I didn't do a ton. Did some with Johnny Depp on Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
I just had some friends that were, in charge of the camera department.
Yeah. Where did they film that?
We were backlot. I think Sony it was like, it's just
they
like
really
big
make
pool.
that shit look like a goddamn ocean.
Yeah, dude. You have a huge big green screen in the back.
Yeah,
the pirate ships. Oh yeah,
that's crazy.
Some is out there, some's here. Some's like it's huge. It's crazy, man. And it was. Are
the boats that they're on? Are those legit?
Sometimes and sometimes not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always wonder. I'm like, damn, they motherfuckers got to build a whole pirate ship.
Yeah,
that shit's tough.
It is,
and then make it look old.
Make it look old. I mean, that's movie magic, man.
Yeah.
And to see it at that level, to see it, from I did some TV. Not a lot. TV was awful, man. It was like no family life. It just.
What's the biggest difference between TV and movie?
Movie is the same thing. They're both grinds, man. They're both like, you're not seeing your family, man. Like it is a big commitment, and so that's why I found myself in the commercial world.
Heard.
So I stayed in commercials, and so I was doing a ton of like, there was a ton of music videos early on, and then it went to, a ton of car commercials, just other regular commercials, and then I fell in with my old boss, Irv, and stayed with him for 15 years doing Food Tabletop. And I just knew, like, it's not an easy set to work on, but it was a real creative set. And there were a few of us, we were all boys together. So there's like this small little crew, and we just kind of...
How'd you meet your boss?
The old first AC called me up, and she was like, hey, you want to work? And so that was kind of how, and then she was probably there for another couple years, and then I moved my way up, and I just knew I was somewhere that it was
passionate.
Yeah, man, like it was creative, it was challenging. You're always on point as a focus puller. Like I know it gives you like a 1 and a 2 mark, man, and like I said, you got burgers burning. I have a total like fire suit on, and and you're like, it was great, man. It was totally crazy. And but yeah, I just really thrived in it. I could check my head whenever you needed to. It was pretty cool on set, and it was just a good spot. And I got to be a dad, man. And so it was never, you had one boss, and he worked enough that you could make anywhere from $100K less and still have time off, and be able to be a good dad and be a parent and be a part of your kid's life. Which I think is so important. From seeing so many people not do that. So I made that decision, and and look where I am, man. It definitely paid off. So,
yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
So then, as you come to the end of this 15-year tenure with him, what made you leave?
I was ready, man. That's a long time to work with people, and it was coming to an end. You could feel it. But what had happened is, 5 years prior to that, I started doing motion work. Me and my buddy had some commercials we did. It's spec spots, right? So it's just a show.
Gotcha.
But, so I started making, it was when and then we kind of had a falling out. Then I started doing motion by myself and working with these young kids, trying to have them be my assistant, and they're just not paying attention. And I'm just like, that's when I made that decision. I said, I'm going for food still photography, and because what had occurred was my boss's stage was downtown Los Angeles. I'm working with the best food stylists on the planet. I know them all. They're all my friends. All the shoppers, right? All these shoppers know all the local fish markets. International Food Company. Santa Monica Seafood is down in downtown LA. So I would go, because I always had to drive. We were always 30 minutes early to work. That was your motto, man. You get to work 30 minutes early. Yeah. No matter what. And it was a far drive for me, too. And so, but what I would do is I would go, because say we're doing like a Popeyes commercial, there's huge refrigerators out there and stuff. And so I would go to the international fish markets before work, say right before that job was wrapped, and I would buy like an octopus, or I would buy sardines, or buy a tuna, or buy clams or oysters, and I would keep them in the fridges there, and I'd bring a cooler in my car with ice, and then I'd take it home. So I was hustling, man. Yeah. I was like, I knew where I wanted to go. I knew where I had to be, and so I just believed in myself, bro. And like, I went through a divorce, bro, a shitty divorce. I mean, I had some really hard times, dude. Like mentally, how, like, believing in yourself, picking yourself up over why is nothing occurring? Why can't I get there? But then it just it became like this. You just fucking grab the back of your fucking scruff, right? Like a mama cat would do, or bear, and just fucking pick yourself up and just keep walking, just like go. And so I really believed in myself, and people. But then my favorite term is build your legend. Right. Build your legend. And I say that. I've been saying it to myself for about a year or two, and I just say, build your legend, man. And that's what it is, because people would just. You get little compliments like, dude, I love your style. Oh, man, this, that. And that just, that drives you, towards, your creative thought and your process and your energy and that final, that soulful image, man,
Right.
and that takes time. That takes a lot of learning, a lot of editing. Like, people would always say to me, I remember, so these two cameras I got early COVID. All right, they're Canon 5Ds, Mark IIIs. I buy everything you use. But before that, I had the Canon 5D original, very first one. It was 15-year-old. They were 15-year-old cameras, and that's how it's a struggling artist, right, man? I got no money. I'm eating sausage, rice, and beans, bro, for like 3-4 years straight, bro. Like, seriously, man. My kid's like, Dad, can't we get that? And I go, sorry, dude, no. Like, but you know what it was? It's because I was going and spending $30 on an octopus, or buying a tuna, or doing this, or paying for gas to get out there and hustle and go do something for free to build it up. So all that, and people. I remember I was working, and I forget her name. She's a pastry chef at Mozza. Nancy
Silverton.
Yeah, and so she called me up, and she had something with TK's Knives, and she's like, "Hey, it's just a collaboration." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it," and I drag my kid along with me, and we go and we shoot, and then it's like, she's like, "Oh, we'll get you for dinner," and so I'm eating, I have no money. I have $10 to get back to Smorgasburg, LA for gas. I have my credit totally gone because of my divorce crushed everything. Yeah. And so I'm sitting there and like I can't tip, and I'm just like, and because I get $10 for fucking gas, and I'm just like, and dude, I said, I'm so sorry, bro, but it's like these moments, man, that are so potent and powerful, and that drive you to be, to find who you are, man. I'm 50, bro, and it's fine. It's coming together, right?
Yeah.
But that's what's so great about it. Is this, you're like, you're more knowledgeable, you're seasoned, you're confident. Portraits. I love my portrait work, and I don't overexert people. I mean, my greatest thing that I say to people is, they're like, "What do I do?" And I said, "You're doing everything perfectly unless I ask you to do something." And then it just releases the tension, and I just let loose, and I don't keep them for, like, when I work with Rockstars, they're like, "Wow, that's it, bro? It's like 2 minutes. It's all I need. Okay, great, got it. Thanks, guys." They're like, "What?" And you're just like, "That's it, man. Just confidence.
Make it convenient."
Yeah, make it convenient, man, and make it good and strong.
Yeah, hell yes. So, you're hustling, you're struggling, and when does that coin start to turn where you're like, I think I got something here, and like some money's rolling in now?
Yeah.
When does that happen for you? How long in?
Well, once again, it comes back to how many people are in this business, right? And so many people think that they're, the phone is, which it is, the phone's a great thing, man.
It really is,
it's great for posts and people talking about the restaurant and the chefs and stuff. But I would say it was a huge break for me. My buddy Michelle, she's a great gal. She is based out of Tennessee, and there was this dude in Chicago that she was working with who was a food photographer. He was working with Sean Brock and a few other people, and so we were like, let's team up. This is like, 4 years ago, and so we were teamed up. I signed the contract, and then some crap went down, and she was like, I'm leaving, and da-da-da. So that fizzled really quick, but I remained friends with her, and so I was really on the single thread farms tip when they came out, and I had been working with, some restaurants, probably more collaborating with restaurants at that point. I was working at some, Smorgasburg, LA, which was great, Moosecraft Barbecue, those guys, and then I ended up, I was working with organic farmers up in Carpinteria. I got a good friend, and just some other, reaching out to farmers, Tehachapi Grain Project, Weiser Family Farms.
Yeah.
And so I really was there, and Single Thread was was all about that. So I was very attracted to them. And so Michelle was able to get me with Dave, who was a maitre d' at the time, and we signed up for collaboration and went up. And I went from not ever being in a Michelin star restaurant to going straight to a 3 Michelin star restaurant. So and it was nerve-wracking, but I just was confident, and I just did what I did, and we had a great, I'm there a lot. We're great friends, great friends with Kyle and Katina and the entire team, and And I think at that point, after that, like, it started to kind of come together, you know, and then it would be like, you know, working with, you know,